The AI is a tool. It's not a crutch. If a dealer
Mm.
is throwing money at AI to replace BDC, they're going to fail. And it's going to be really hard for them to pick up.
Well, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the BDCRX Podcast. Before I introduce our special guest today, how's it going, Jay? How's it going, Chuck?
Doing good, thank God. Can't complain.
Let's go. Let's go. We all
Doing
look good. That's
good.
half the battle.
Yeah, I think the car industry is in a really cool spot, guys. I think the COVID years are done. I think AI is coming in. I think dealers really got to get their hands dirty again. I think it's been a season of like selling cars quickly. Now manufacturers are starting to put more cars on ground. And here's the reality: it doesn't seem as if new cars are selling. It doesn't seem as if it looks like used cars are holding the market right now. And I think we're just in a very different season where I know before COVID, it was all about new. And it's like, how do you sell new cars? So I think you're getting a lot of dealer adjustments right now, people trying new things. I've never seen dealers, because I know them now, try so many new products, Chuck. And I've never seen them wanting, we need to figure it. It's like it's vendor season and everyone wants a new vendor. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I haven't seen this in a long time because, during COVID, it was like it always worked. It was working. Why change what's broken? And I think now it's like, okay, is it me or do I have to change what I'm doing?
Well, I think what's the saying? What is it? Change is inevitable, but growth is optional, right? So it's one of those things that I think the dealership world, I think there's a lot of change and it's for the good, and thankfully I think it's in good hands as well. So just to kind of kick this off and welcome our guest, we have a special guest. We have Tana Cotton from Crane Hyundai of Fayetteville. Come on, Arkansas in the house. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome. I would add the sound effects of the applause right now.
Everybody give me a round of everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
Thank you.
welcome, Hannah.
Hi, thank you very much for joining, everybody watching, and also inviting me here. Super fun. I'm super excited for this next hour with you guys.
Let's
do it. Well, just to kick off, kind of give us a bit of a background, kind of where the inception of kind of where you started your journey in BDC. She is currently, just to give context to the audience, she is currently the BDC Director and Manager. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think you've been there for the past few years, so a lot of building from the ground up. So definitely want to give the audience some of that backstory.
Yeah, absolutely. So beginning from day one back in, oh my gosh, 2015. Yeah, this was my 10th year in the automotive world. I can't believe it's already been a decade. It's been a roller coaster to say the least. Coming in just as a single mom looking for just a job, basically. I got hired on as the receptionist, did my interview, and the guy said, okay, absolutely not, no. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not cut out for this. But he's like, I have another job for you. Hear me out. Took me upstairs to this room, which they never pour money into the BDC offices. It's always like a random storage closet, like upstairs in a dealership. So
every time I'm following
this man down a dark hallway, second guessing all of my choices leading up to this moment. He opens the door and I see about 15 girls, and they're kind of like chickens. They're like, hi, and so that was my very first experience with the BDC. I had zero sales experience at all. None. I was a daycare teacher. I worked in restaurants, did all the little things like that leading up to this. So he told me, this is what you're going to be calling. This is what you're going to be doing. Now, have you guys, well, I know you guys have had this happen. You get a promotional email from a dealership in your inbox, right? Probably goes straight to trash. I don't blame you. I do the same thing. You don't even open it. Well, there's some people that do. So back in the day, that's how we spread the word about, our promotions, this, that, and the third. My job, and it's crazy to think about doing this now, but my job was to call the people who opened the email. That was it. They didn't inquire. They didn't submit information. We just had a bucket in e-leads that told me if they opened an email. So I called them. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. This is Hannah with da-da-da-da. How are you today? Click, click, click,
Right.
click. I don't think I've ever had my life threatened as much as I did then. So, but I made it work. I got the script down. I had an email and text process. I did what I needed to do. Did it for a year, was wildly successful, finally got on leads. But I like to say, you know, especially to the new BDC people who just get on fresh leads right in the beginning, I'm like, you don't even understand how easy you have it.
Yeah.
You have idea. So that
Hannah,
was my first.
yeah, I
What's
want
that?
to piggyback off what you said, because you dropped like two nuggets in there that are so big. Number one, yeah, two things that are big, right? One, it's you were doing something that was getting your life threatened, but you were able to overcome that. You were able to push through. And I think a lot of BDC agents, where we're at right now, is like they do just want the easy leads. They do just want the inbound phone calls. But the reality is, Hannah, I know and you know, because I had to go through that. When when someone's gonna hang up, it's like you got the quick pitch ready, you got the script down, you got to know it now. You've got, I know that my tonality has to be at a specific spot. So, hey, Mr. Customer, this is Jason. It's like, hold on
Yep.
before you hang up. So, and I think
don't
there's
hang
so
up on
much there's so much to learn in that, because number one, you develop tonality, right? You had to memorize the script. And you knew that every time someone picked up, because you were calling these random emails, that every single customer that picked up was so important. And I believe nowadays, because we're not training, well, maybe we are training the agents and maybe we are, but I believe there's something so important that climbing the mountain. Like going through that desert part is so important because it builds character. Like nowadays, if you get a new lead, it's like, I know exactly how to handle it. I'm probably the best person for it, because if I was able to convert those emails, you're darn right I can convert these day one opportunities. So I didn't want the audience to like skip the great part of what you did. And in 10 years shows that, hey, listen, I'm not just here for a short time. I'm here for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of wanted to big you up a little bit on that.
Well, thank you. Now my ego is inflated here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
it
writing
should be. 10 years of BDC. We all need to have egos for this.
That is very true. That is very true. So moving on past that, I was just a rep. I was a rep. I was the top rep. I was the numero uno. Everybody
Let's
wanted
There you
to
go.
go.
let me just follow. You got me feeling good now.
There you go.
But I was with an automotive dealer that had 6 dealerships. We had Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Nissan, Fiat, Chevy, GMC. So I didn't run every one of them, but they all wanted me to run them. But I had my hand in every single store that we had. And then by then I was producing, 130 to 175 shows a month, producing 80 to 100 stolds a month across 6 stores. I was making some money. I was making money. So I just always told the new people when they came in, I'm like, hey, listen, this job sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. It sucks to call people who are going to hang up on you, threaten you, lie to you, tell you they're going to show up. They're never going to show up. They're going to block your number. They're going to send you threats via text. It's going to suck. But if you can get past the suck,
Yeah.
the money and the relationships and the communication skills that you learn, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I mean, calling people all day isn't fun. We have to, you got to eat the sandwich on that one. It's not fun. But if you can get past it, it really is a fun time when you're making the money.
I think it, Hannah, to go back to that, I think no matter what job you do, it's mundane. I'm a CEO of a company, run a large BDC. It doesn't matter. I'm still on podcasts. I still have schedule. I still have to go do stuff. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of differences in between it, but the life is mundane, whether you like it or not. If you want a vacation and you need some mind clarity, take your vacation. But other than that, it's time to pick up the phone and dial. That's all I know. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to any of these glamorous places where I had all these opportunities in front of me. But all I've learned was the phone. So get past it. Yes, eat a sandwich, get past it. But once you get past it, there's something big there. But that person that you're speaking to, either they're going to learn it with you, or they're going to learn it somewhere else, or they're never going to learn it at all. And that's just the facts to it. So either you're going to learn somewhere, or you're going to learn another place, or you're not going to learn at all. But I'd rather you learn it here with us. And I'm sure you rather, because I think the person that learns it and shows it is the one that, as leaders, we can rest on them and say they have built character. I can trust you because you've been trusted with little, and now I can trust you with more. So I think the person that you're describing is like, I think you're spot on everything you're saying. And I love when they overcome it, because that's a leader to me. That's the leader I was looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, moving on from that, just stepping into now my leadership position. So it's a pretty interesting story. I've left automotive probably 4 times just to go try to do something different because like you
Like
said,
everyone.
it's mundane. And like everybody always ends up back. I don't know why I keep
Yeah.
leaving.
Need to be made.
That's the kicker. That's the kicker. I was chasing the bag, but I left to go sell insurance. I crushed it. Left to sell insurance, left to sell at iHeartRadio. So I sold advertisement. And then I also sold, I was actually a BDC for a tech software company. Let me tell you this, calling bank presidents and CEOs, I will call somebody who hangs up and threatens my life every day before I ever do that again. That was awful. 0 out of 10, bank presidents, no. So with doing all that and always coming back kind of to my core, I was leaving my current my previous auto group. And it was so funny. A lot of people had left, a lot of GMs, a lot of higher ups, a lot of leaders. And I was going to a different store to actually sell cars. I've never sold cars, but I had an opportunity to go sell cars. And I get a call from my now GM. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm driving. Why are you calling me? We were friends, but we didn't really ever talk. And he was like, well, do you know anybody who wants a BDC job? I was like, me? And he said, oh, are you leaving? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm leaving. I think I'm going to go to this other store right down the street, right next to the store he's the GM at now. He said, no. Come see me. And I was like, why? And he said, I want to offer you a job. I said, you couldn't pay me enough. I'm not coming there. That store's failing. I've heard that store is built on an Indian burial ground. I'm not coming to that store. No, absolutely not. Well, he twisted my arm and I got there. And so we've been rolling together ever since. It's been 2 years now.
That's awesome.
When I told you the store was in shambles. I mean, they had 4 GMs that year, 4 different GMs. So talk about no process, no loyalty, culture was in the dump. I mean, it was truly like building it from the ground up.
Talk a little bit about that, Hannah. I would love to get a little bit more insight about that because I think that's one of the biggest things that I was seeing. You came into a place that wasn't put together, but I think as Jason mentioned before, you had already gone through your BDC career, through the highs and lows. John C. Maxwell has this really cool saying, it's like crisis reveals character, right? It's in the moments of pressure where it kind of reveals what you're kind of made of. So
Absolutely.
kind of talk about that, like showing up to a place, obviously you didn't want to, the GM obviously was a friend of yours, but now you're in this place, it's okay, let me join. What did that look like from day one? You and the GM, kind of what you noticed, what are some processes you guys had to build out?
Sure. So I walked in and he's like, all right, come with me. I'm going to show you your office. Storage closet. Shocker. I knew it was going to be, it was dark. It was dingy. We had one light. It was horrible. All the chairs were broken. I mean it. All the chairs were broken. Some of them had stains in it. It was very questionable. Walk in, he flips on the light. He's like, here's your office. And I'm like, at that point, questioning everything I've decided up until this point. But here I was ready to do what I needed to do. So he introduces me to the sales managers. Okay, nice to meet you. None of them are there now, by the way, except one. Met the sales team. They just didn't really even say hi to me. Of course, they obviously had a bad experience with BDC in the past. The BDC to salesperson relationship is never the best. I would say now it is very good, but then it was pretty bad. There was no culture. Everybody was trying to skate everybody. Everybody was talking bad about everybody, starting drama. There was no sales process at all, and especially no BDC process. They had one lady working there. She had worked there for a couple years. All she did was text the salesperson, say, hey, can you take a lead? And then would just let it sit in there until, the salesperson responded and said yes. And as I was sitting and looking through all the inquiries, all I would see is stop lead, with no reach out. Like there was no phone calling. There was nobody actually working these leads. So when I tell you, I literally walked into zero, like it was zero. There was no process for anything. So he pulls me aside and he's like, hey, I know this is scary, but I have a plan. I'm like, I sure hope so. I'm about to leave. And so all we did was just plan, implemented processes, got the right people in the right seats. That was very important. He brought a phenomenal used car manager. We had worked with him previously, a new car manager, and then also another GSM. So all of us working together, we really turned it around. But then the CDK hack happened. And I have never went through something like that before. That was worse than COVID. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Very familiar.
Awful. So I was back there in my storage closet just typing up a process. I'm like, okay, how are we going to get through this? You know, we were printing the leads and it was so funny. I wish I would have brought it with me because it's hilarious. I'm going to keep it forever. It's going to go in a museum one day. But it's a packet of these leads that we got and we were writing our follow-up on it. So I was like, Monday, July 1st, called, texted, and emailed. Like, it was just the only way that I could figure out that it would work until I thought, okay, maybe we should use Excel. I thought that after a couple weeks, you know. It did come to me, but I do have a packet of follow-up, handwritten follow-up. And I had stores. So the organization I work for, it's pretty large. But I had other directors calling me, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because we're still selling cars. I'm sorry, just because the CRM is broken doesn't mean we're broken. We're still going to sell cars. We're going to make the most of it. We didn't skip a beat. We were the #1 store that month. And I think it was down 2 months. I don't remember. But that month and then into the next one, we were the #1 store. Lead response time, you know, lead engagement, everything was still there. And I actually ended up doubling BDC performance that month, year over year. So that was a pretty big win. And I think that was 3 months into me in the position. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, but we figured it out. So then moving off.
Wow. So you stepped. Wow.
It was a mess.
I want to ask a question to Chuck real quick, Hannah. Chuck, Charles, I know that you run the AI space pretty solid. Definitely, I would say #1, #2 in the space. If CDK crashes again, what would you be able to do that would still hold the customers down? Like, let's just say the store, CDK, Vin Solutions, whatever. Would you still be able to be active in a store and do these things? And if so, like, how would AI interact with that? Super curious on that.
Yeah, so we went through that. And one thing that I would recommend dealers do is have that backup plan in place. So all those leads are going to a CRM lead address, but those leads can also go to other areas or other emails. So here at cardealer.ai, we actually like to not only obviously integrate directly with the CRM or the systems that the dealerships have, but we also like to be copied on those leads to make sure we have them as a backup plan, just in case something like that ever happens ever again. I think, you know, that happening taught us a lot, and just making sure that we have that backup plan in place. So to Hannah's point, if something ever goes down, like, you can actually lean on AI, or at least lean on having access to those leads outside of just one spot, or, you know, where all those leads are going to. So, so the AI, we get copied on all those third party leads. Any lead that goes to the CRM, we make sure that we have that access to that data in case that ever happens ever again.
So then, am I safe to assume that in the AI space that you would also have a document? So, okay, lead comes in, Charles, boom, it goes to the CRM. The CRM's broken. It also goes to you.
Yeah.
Do you also have like a tool to use? Okay, cool. So let's just say Hannah's at the store level. I'm just curious because this could happen again. We don't know. So would Hannah be able to access the opportunities? Like, hey, what happened on that phone call? Do you have like a back-end tool for her to see, like, hey, now that you're collecting the data, is it stored in a way? Because she's using an Excel spreadsheet. What in a vendor perspective do you have to, like, say, hey, listen, if it does go down, you can still see your leads. You don't have to use that CRM. You can use our CRM. We have this and this.
Yeah.
Like, does the AI space have that?
So we have an extensive dashboard that collects all of that data. And not only does it collect the data, but dealerships have access to how the data is being used, how the AI is communicating with that data. You can listen to an inbound call. You can listen to an outbound call. You can see the text message or an email that was sent to that specific lead. So to my point that I made earlier, if the CRM ever goes down, that doesn't stop. We make sure that we have integrated with our dashboard because of what dealers just went through. That was a nightmare. So AI as a backup plan is definitely something that we've thought about going through that experience. And yes, everybody will have access to that. You can easily, instead of you manually, Hannah, having to go in and put it all in Excel, the AI dashboard is the one click of a button and you have access to all of that data and all of that communication.
Yeah, that's really
really nice.
cool. Yeah, it really is. I
Exciting
think on the
times.
BDC perspective, Charles, we ran into the same thing, but I think I'm more in Hannah's boat. It was like, what the heck now? Like, I'm BDC. So Hannah, I have maybe 50 stores on eLeads. Could you imagine what happened to my business? I'm like, yo, what's going to happen now? Like, I'm at the point of like, should I sell it? Like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. When is it coming back? And then they were giving out these emails to where it's like, okay, it's never going to come back. So it kind of got scary for me. But I think to Charles, I did the same things. If this ever does happen, Charles, I got the same thing as you. If a lead comes in, I'm also attached onto those emails, and we also have a dashboard. You would never go down so far forward, Hannah, to even have the disposition. I would have been able to disposition a call. Oh, it was an appointment? Cool. And then you could actually see your appointment on an external desk log, and you could have followed the missed appointment. Did it miss? Do you need to recall, text it, email it? So I think outsource BDCs too, to that point, as well as to the AI point I see, we had to all level up. So even if eLeads went down, Vin Solutions, Drive Centric, whatever, you'd still be fully up and running on a BDC. Like, I would still be calling out your opportunities. And now we started pulling data from the CRM. Charles, I know that you do that as well, because you have to communicate the bots with other leads. So I have all your data now. So if you're like, hey, we need a data mine, or we need to bring customers in, we have full access to that stuff. So, and I think you even mentioning COVID, which we've never talked about on this podcast, I think it shaped the way that most BDC or vendors had to compensate. But nowadays, like, I wish it would go down just to check to see how the software works. Like, I'm like, fall, let me see how it
Oh,
picks up.
don't say that.
How much more business can I get? How much more business can I get? How many dealers will shake and they have to have a resource? Like, I'm here. Call Jason. I'll give you my number now.
I think that's sometimes good though. It shakes up the industry though, Jason, and COVID did that for sure. And then eLeads, it was like a wake up call to, it's like, hey, we're not as prepared as we thought we were, right? When circumstances happen, but then you find a way to pivot, and I think we did that with the team here. And I'm pretty sure, Hannah, that's what I kind of want to allude to. You walked into chaos in the beginning, kind of building the dealership from the ground up, and 3 months in, the CDK thing happens. Kind of walk us through that. You mentioned two good things. You talked about two of the first things you guys did, which is bring a good team, and then also culture. I know Jason's a big culture guy. He can talk about that for days. Kind of walk us through that in the sense of, I think everything rises and falls on leadership in some sort of way. Which is why you got brought on in regards to the GM, but also culture. What did that look like? I know you mentioned there was no process in place, but how did you start kind of building that culture and started having those results like that you said immediately?
Yeah. So all of the leadership staff on my team, we all lead with servant leadership. We're never going to ask somebody to do something
So
we're not
good.
willing to do ourselves. We are not scream at you in a sales meeting type leaders. We, let it go in public, but you're going to correct it in private. That is how we communicate with our sales staff. It's the most effective way. I mean, we're all adults. We're not leading a babysitting club here. Everybody is their own person. They all make money. They're married. They have kids. It's important to treat everybody with respect. So that was number one. They were used to all these different GMs coming in, and a lot of them were old car dogs. We talk a lot about that in our store, because the average age at my store is under 30. All of leadership is, my GM isn't even 30. I'm just going to say that. GM isn't even 30. I'm 32. The other leaders, I don't even think any of them are over the age of 35. So that tells you enough right there. Leadership is very young. We all came from COVID, the old car dog mentality. We all came from that and decided that that's not what we want in our organization. So it really began with us sitting down and talking about how we're going to lead this ship. We all need to be rowing. And if some person's rowing backwards, how do you get them back on track? So we have meetings. We have a manager meeting every first Monday of the month. And then we have sales manager, and I'm looped in with the sales managers. Well, we have manager meetings every Monday, and we talk about culture a lot. Who's having a hard time? who is struggling inside work and outside work. We pour a lot into their personal lives as well. We're a family. That's just what it is. Like it's work. We're here to sell cars. We're here to make money. But at the end of the day, we're all people and we all care about each other. So taking that mentality into a store who has never felt security was a game changer. I mean, you saw people like they're walking around like this all day, like waiting for somebody to stab them in the back. Like you can literally see them just like, okay, like I can relax. I can sell cars. I can do what I'm here to do. I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder. So just really making that change from the jump, it was night and day. I would say we culture shifted in like 2 weeks. Like it was crazy. Once they saw that we actually meant what we said and we actually meant it when we have servant hearts and servant leadership, everybody wants to work for somebody they want to work for, if that makes sense. If you respect the person you work for, you're going to run through walls. And that's what we have now.
Yeah, I say this at work all the time. If you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. Servant leadership, a servant leadership is the pinnacle. You can't lead here if you can't serve here. If you can't take out the trash here, then you can't talk to people. I'm so Chuck, like I'm actually curious, right? So I can understand people culture. Um, like AI is AI though, bro. Like how is there a culture to the AI, the company, the way it's ran? Like, do these bots like have like a specific like design in which they call from like, hey, our culture is this, or our bots speak this way, or hey, we're aggressive, so we do this, like, or do you tailor make it around the culture of the dealer? I'm super curious on this.
So very, very good question. In regards to the AI culture specifically, a lot of them are built to do specific tasks and they're in different parts or areas of the dealership. But I'm still a firm believer in the hybrid approach where like AI's not getting rid of humans. You still need the humans, so that they're a big part of the culture. But making sure that, AI is really handling like the mundane. We keep saying there's a lot of mundane work with BDC. So that's really what the AI is focused on. So I'm still a big fan. You still need humans. You still need a BDC to build the relationships, close the deal. So I feel like culture and building relationships is hand in hand, go together with each other. So, the humans at the dealership, we're not trying to get rid of them. So the culture would still align with the AI, but the AI is more so as like an assistant that is handling a lot of the mundane work from a BDC perspective. So the culture aligns with whatever the dealership's culture is to sum it up.
That's good. So it's like a culture carrier. It goes with the culture, and I guess it's the people make. How good the bots are is how good the people are that give it the authority, the autonomy. That's actually a really good thought. I never looked at it that way.
You still need like the BDC agents or the salespeople. They still like those processes are still very important. Whereas the AI is really digging through those dormant opportunities is what I would call them, and then bringing in the lowest hanging fruit. But that's where it's kind of stops from there. You still need a human to come in, pick up the phone, confirm the appointment, still build that relationship. When you come into the dealership, ask for me. So the culture at the dealership is just as important, and it goes hand in hand with the technology.
Wow, that's so good. That's so good. So I guess yeah. So the dormant leads. So Hannah, let me ask you a question. Are you using AI right now?
We are. Yeah, we're on Drive Centric now after the Elites fiasco. So
okay. So okay. So I have Drive stores now. If Drive Centric is listening to this, I apologize. So Drive Centric, I apologize. I've seen AIs like Matador, Impel, and I've seen some AIs that I believe that are really good. I'm not the biggest fan of the one from Drive. Now, because of the limitations that it has on it, and Drive also doesn't really sync well with other like companies. It like wants to do everything in house. By the way, I think in Drive Centric, let me just say this: I think you're the best CRM if you're listening. Like I believe that you are. Yeah, I do love you. Like, you guys are spot on. I think I think we all can take constructive criticism that the AI could be better. But Hannah, like, I have a back end view of what Charles's AIs can do, and the reaches that it can go to are like immense. And I want him to get into that. But I'm more curious from a dealer's perspective, because me and Charles don't have that like identity to know in the store. So it's two forms. What are the pros and cons of the AI in what you're using? And what do you wish it did more of?
So I would say the pros. So we've used two forms of AI. We've used Impel, which when you sign up for Impel, you're giving just yes or no answers. Like it's like 120 questions, and you have to like say, okay, if somebody asks this, you answer it this way, this way, this way, this way. I hate that. It was never accurate. Like the things that Impel was saying they never made any sense. So with Drive Centric, it's a lot more conversational. It's almost like ChatGPT. Like at least that's a very good pro. The customer's never like, oh, is this AI? Like you hardly can even tell, which I do appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is, and I don't know if it's just the way we have our CRM set up, is she messages a lot. Like ours' name is Zoe. So Zoe, she messages a lot. So we get, the lead comes in, we're call, text, emailing, videoing right away. Well, she's also texting and emailing multiple times a day. And unless we fire her, it's going to keep going. And we've been told we can't adjust that. I don't know. I'm not on that side. We have a corporate traffic controller that does all of that. But I've just been told we can't edit that. So I would like the autonomy of the store to be able to make the decision on how involved AI actually. Now, for data mining, she's awesome. And we get alerts when she's having a conversation. We have something called a genius notification. And that tells me that she's having conversations with people. So I can go in, fire her, and then impersonate her and get this customer in that way. I do like that a lot. With Genius, I will say I have more pros than cons. Really, the only con is not being able to control her completely from a store standpoint. But we do use it a lot.
Yeah, on a BDC side, I think AI is necessary in every store now. And
100%.
I'm from the BDC. Like if you like I was talking to a dealer and he was like, think I should get it. I'm like, you think you should get it? Like, why would you not want someone following up on like what are we talking? Is it worth the money? I'm like, is it what are you talking like it kind of just goes to show that as technology grows, so will it need to grow. But I actually think that AI is like an extension of BDC. Now, Charles, you could correct me if I'm wrong, which I know that me and you share like different viewpoints a lot when it comes to AI and people, to where I would say, I think that AI is really good at keeping the communication function going. To where like at the end of the day, Hannah, we only have a capacity to go so far. Like, you want me to hit a day 90 lead? Who the heck is picking up that phone call? You want me to email that? I wouldn't like there better be like an autoresponder email to even me to click the button. It's wasting my breath, right? I'm not even breathing. Like,
100%.
When you want me to
Like,
follow a 3-year-old lead?
Yeah.
yeah, like three. Like, I don't even know what that means, by the way, Charles. I know that you in your realm, you know what that means, but like to us
This
humans
kid-
down
you know,
here on
this per-
Earth,
This person
I
put
don't.
his dog as a lead. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, yeah. AI is following up on
I will
everything. Speaking in doganese, but no, for us, it's just a little different. But and I
Oh
I
man.
completely understand what you're talking about. And for any dealer that's out there, let me just say this. Charles does have a really good AI that's functional, that reaches out to people, that communicates at a really high level, and not just with text and email, but he has the voiceover AI, which I think is like kind of scary, low key, bro. I feel like sometimes you're trying to take my job sometimes, but then I see like the more like I've seen it being used, it's like the more I see that I need to be used. Right? So it's
Yeah,
kind of like
for
this
sure.
hand in hand thing too. And it's like, you're
Correct.
right, dude. I may not give a 90-day-old lead a voice call, but I know that the AI can. And if it needs to be switched into a sale, it can. So Hannah, I wanted to ask on that, because we're humans. Like, me and you are BDC8. Like I'm you, right? Charles is like the ugly stepchild. Sorry, Charles. But coming to suit my job. But
I'm
my
the
question to
Terminator.
you is, yeah, like, get out of here, dog. Back to the future with you. And but my question is, with all honesty, and I'm gonna answer it too, AI scared me for a little bit. But the more I learn about it, the less scared I am. But like at first I was really scared. I'm just curious from like the dealer perspective. I don't really talk to BDC directors. Were you like nervous about AI? are you nervous about it? Like, yo, you better take my, like, what are your standpoints on? And then Chuck, like, if you want to just respond back to what she says to like maybe bring us clarity, but help.
Yeah.
So when I heard about us switching to Drive and it having a built-in AI system, I was looking for other jobs. I was like, oh God, I know how dealers are. They think that they could just throw money at something and that be like a total solution. They're going to cut my job. Like I was terrified. But I very quickly realized that AI is not going to be effective unless there's a process. And
Come
you
on.
can't just throw money. You cannot throw money at a problem like this. You cannot throw money at a problem that's going to try to replace human interaction. All you're going to do is get results faster and they're going to be worse than before. So, with seeing some of the responses that AI says, there's so many times I have to jump in and I have to impersonate the AI because it's just going off the handle. So, imagine if you had a real BDC person in there saying that kind of stuff. Imagine how fast they would get cut.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I quickly realized, okay, they're not coming for my job. As a BDC person, director now, it is my job to wine and dine this customer, have an emotional connection, get them excited about purchasing a vehicle. How can an electronic AI robot person do that? They can't. They just can't. They can't pick up the phone and build the connection, build the urgency, get them to the dealership, do the handoff with the salesperson, shake the customer's hand. They can't do that. So as far as I'm concerned, our job is secure. The AI is a tool. It's not a crutch. If a dealer is throwing money at AI to replace BDC, they're going to fail. And it's going to be really hard for them to pick up the pieces afterwards.
Yeah. Go ahead, Charles, my bad.
No, so I 100% agree. I don't think we're there yet. I will use that word. We're not there yet, but the technology's it's rapid. I mean, it's growing as we're speaking right now. There's updates and things going on. But look, salespeople, the BDC, you all build the human experience. My world builds the scalable experience. But when they work together, dealerships see results that neither one could achieve alone.
100%.
Jason touched on it. Like, humans have a capacity limit, fortunately and unfortunately. But when they hit that capacity limit, the customer experience just dwindles. Yeah. So if you can somehow maximize that AI employee or tool, whatever you want to call it, to really allow humans to do what they love to do naturally and do best, which is, again, just really the relationship aspect and the trust aspect. When you bring both of them together, that's when, dealerships or BDC departments become pretty powerful. And it surprises me every day when I talk to dealerships or GMs that aren't really sold yet on that idea of really leveraging AI to help them build their dealerships. But the dealerships that do buy into it are the ones that are going to win ultimately in the end. So I compare AI to like almost like a student taking an SAT, like taking their SAT. It's like you have one student you give a calculator to do the math section of it, and you give a student that doesn't. Like, who's going to end up finishing that test first, and who's going to end up like having the better score? It's the student that has the calculator right next to them that can breeze through all the math. Now, does that automatically mean that student's going to get the question right? No, but he does have a tool that the other student didn't have that is going to make him a lot more efficient and ultimately get a higher score than the student that didn't get it. Yeah.
Hey, Charles, you were saying something about the stores and like they don't get it. If you could just cut like a 30-second, like what would you say to a dealer right now watching this podcast and they're on the fence about getting AI, they have a BDC, they have an outreach, they have what Hannah has, they have what I have. What would you say to them right now? They're watching. What would you say to like convince them to want the product, like, or want an AI? What would you say? They're on the fence. I don't know if I don't know if I should do it.
I would start with the truth. And the automotive industry doesn't have a lead problem, doesn't have a traffic problem, and it doesn't have a customer problem. It has an execution problem. Dealers are spending millions of dollars generating opportunities, but the follow-up, the consistency, and the customer experience, like I said earlier, breaks down the moment human capacity hits a limit. So that's where I feel like AI changes everything. So if you can somehow get your humans to work on what they do best, which is get the lowest hanging fruits, build those relationships, that's where dealerships are gonna win in the end.
Oh, good, bro.
100%.
That was actually really good. Yeah, that was really good. That was a good take.
100%.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I'm still not buying AI though.
Well,
There's that one guy. There's that
the
one guy.
way-
No,
There's something that I mentioned earlier that we all laughed about. It's like a 3-year-old lead. What is that? Like,
yeah.
how much money I don't know if the GM's still there currently, that GM that got that lead or invested in advertising medium that got that lead there. But I look at that lead as a huge opportunity. Why? Because now I know they didn't buy from you, but they were interested in something that you had, right?
that's so good.
But what are the odds that I forget what the stat is, and everybody has their own stat on how long the customer journey takes for a customer to actually purchase a vehicle. Well, let's call it 4 months, 5 months, whatever the number is. I know they didn't buy from you though. So what are the odds that they bought from somewhere else? Pretty high. So then I look at that, I go, okay, cool. I know that the odds are high that person bought a vehicle somewhere else. That lets me know that A, they have a vehicle to trade in. And then B, what are the odds that that customer is near a positive equity situation? Pretty high. It's 3 years old. And, typically like trade cycle customers fall within that. It used to be 2 years, but COVID kind of changed things. But, that 3-year-old lead actually, to me, is a big opportunity. If I can connect with that lead and I can offer them KBB value of what their vehicle may be worth currently, and they responded to the marketing outreach, that's a low hanging fruit customer. And that is a huge opportunity that all of us in the room laughed at, but AI could be managing and working that lead. Again, it doesn't stop there. Now that lead comes into the CRM. We still need Hannah. We still need Jason to come in and really bring that customer into the door. So that's the kind of stuff that excites me when I'm working on these AI, building these employees, listening to thousands of conversations. To me, that's like dealers that are leveraging that type of tool or employee is, there's an added value to an old lead that you spent money on, but if you didn't touch them, it would remain dormant. But if you converted that customer into a sale, you're not only recouping a lot of advertising dollars that you spent on, but there's just a bunch of added value there, in my opinion.
Hannah, I don't know if you're like this, but I'm like this. So I laugh because I don't think about it. I really don't think about a 3-year-old lead. I don't think about a year-old lead. I'll be honest with you. I don't. And for good reason. Like, who's calling it? I'll text it. I'll email it or something. Maybe if I recall, but I'm so busy on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I might have forgot to hit day 2000 again. But what, and I think Charles, I think what's really cool about what you said is that your brain thinks about that. My brain thinks about this. And I think that's where this partnership really interjects and really becomes connected, is because you're thinking about a longer process where I'm thinking about a connection process. Like, Hannah, when I'm on the phone, or Hannah, I'm curious to get your take, but my only, I look at a few stats. The biggest stat I look at is the contact stat. If 100 leads came in, how many did we talk to? Was it 50%, 60%, 80%? That's all I need to know. Because once I get you on the phone, it's a high probability that I can set you. Because if not, I couldn't set you. Pass it over to Hannah. I'll set the appointment. Pass it to Jason. He'll set the appointment. You got leaders that will bring it in. Do I need to get the dealer involved? Do I need to get a sales manager involved? Did we send the right picture? The person, whatever. Show them another car. Do something. As long as you build contact, you build relationship, and you can build into the appointment. So, Hannah, when he says that, that's long-term, for me, it's just like he made that 3-year-old lead become a day one again. And that, to me, excites the crap out of me. Because now it's like, thanks for feeding me to make me better, but you also just reactivated an older opportunity. So Hannah, I'm curious on like, what is your take on that? Do you feel the same way that these leads are being handled a little bit different? And is there like, is that the right route? Are we missing something in that, or is it spot on?
He's spot on. And I say that from lived experience. Back when I was doing the red receipts on the campaigns, my next step up, before I even got leads, I had to call 90, 60, or 60, 90, and 120 leads. So I was in the thick of it, calling those leads I had never answered for years. I'm big on call list. So I will organize call lists for my salespeople. They love to go data mining. I like to data mine, even, if I have spare time in my day, it never happens, but sometimes it does. I'll go do a high rate. I don't care. And it's very funny that we're talking about COVID too, because if you called those leads that came in 2020, 2021, they were in such a bad position when they bought. Like they're ready. Last time they had an experience with a dealership, they got everything they wanted, but they're $5,000 upside down immediately right after they walk off the lot. Like those people are just now becoming equitable. Call them now. These are the people we need to be calling them now. As new car prices rise and rise and rise, and you said this at the beginning, new car numbers are down. I mean, I saw Hyundai. Tell me why a high-end Palisade, $60,000. That's crazy.
Yeah.
A brand new 26 hybrid Palisade calligraphy is $62,000. That's crazy, right? So a lot of people.
I'm buying a Tahoe.
Yeah, at that point, we'll just buy it.
Yeah, but I'm buying a GMC Denali just because of that.
Buy Palisade instead. Just kidding. But,
Yeah.
You won't catch me buying a new car. Right now, it's not going to happen. It's not a buyer's market. Buyer's market was 5 years ago when COVID was hitting, but they don't understand how screwed they were. It was a buyer's market, but really it was a seller's market. They only bought out of desperation. I remember getting leads. I was getting leads, and at that time I was at a CDJR store, Wranglers or Rams and stuff like that. I mean, we would have two, and as soon as we list them online, people are calling. They're paying $10,000 over MSRP. They don't care because there's none out there that they can get their hands on. They bought out of desperation. So those people now, 5 years, almost 6 years down the line, they're ready to trade into something better. So I totally see what he's talking about. Calling those older leads, we all laughed, but it really, really could be something there. You just have to. It's all about how you pick up the phone and how you sell it to the customer, and then you have to sell it to yourself too. I mean, if you're picking up the phone thinking, man, this guy is not going to answer, he's going to tell me to screw off, like whatever. You don't know what's going on in the other line. You don't know what's going on. So when you're doing those older calls, you always have to lead into it like, okay, there's an opportunity. I could help this person on the other line. And I think that long-term follow-up, I mean, money is left on the table when we don't take advantage of it. Yes, the low-hanging fruit of a fresh lead, it's so nice. It's so beautiful. Everybody wants it. But how many times are they actually even answering?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah, especially when it's a new car lead. Yeah, man. New cars are really tough right now. Used cars, I think, are really soaring up. And what's the big thing is, too, is like because these new car prices went up, it's not like the older model pricing followed suit. It went down more because the new car went up. So it's a new body style, new money. And then that older one just keeps plummeting and plummeting and plummeting, which is why people keep buying these used cars. Like, it's better to buy the older model for the way discounted 10% off because it doesn't have the same body style. And plus, the car was only sold for $40,000 and it's 3 years. It's of course it's $19,000. Like, how much more was it gonna be? Now the new one is $40,000 and it's supposed to be $30,000. But of course it's gonna be a lot less because the MSRP can't be close to the MSRP pricing. So I think new cars, I think that's probably the hardest thing in BDC right now. And I think new car leads are not as strong as they used to be, especially if you're Stellantis or Nissan. If you guys are watching, I highly recommend that you really sort out your opportunities because they'll tell you, hey, our leads close 90 days later. That's really cool and that's great. But what about all the 60 leads that just came in on used that my dealer is begging me to freaking call right now? Like I need to sell because we live in a here and now culture. We live in everything lives and dies on this month. We live in everything dies on the Saturday, and next week is a new week. That's the dealership lifestyle. So when a lot of these manufacturers tell me their leads are, you have to call them in 90 days, it's like, yo, get it right, because the opportunity is so low funnel. Like, Hannah, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, don't give me it gets stronger in day 60. My GM doesn't want to hear that from me because he only does a 30-day. My GM, the GMs, our owners, they only look at the last 30 days of internet closing ratio. So it's like a dealer was talking to me, Hannah, and he was like, hey, my closing ratio is at 12%. And I'm like, he's like, you promised me 15. I'm like, well, you also got 300 new car leads and they close at 2.5%. He's like, well, what happened to those? My guy said they start closing in 90 days. I'm like, all right, perfect. Let's go check the stat in 90 days then. Because that stat ain't going to represent the stat of today. So your stats are skewed. So you know what you can do? You can put those new car leans as campaigns and let me see my real closing ratio. How about that one? You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Let's talk. Exactly. And I will say, a lot of the time, if you are not in the BDC space, you don't actually understand these numbers at all.
No.
And I feel like that I've had that same exact conversation with, my higher ups, and they just kind of look at me like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I know the numbers. I live, breathe, eat, sleep in my numbers. I know what's performing, what's not performing, what we need to do different. Trust me.
Yeah.
So I totally understand your pain points there, but new cars, man, they're so rough. And we have a dealer close to us. We pride ourselves on transparent pricing. If you ask for numbers, to you, we don't have an addendum. We don't have any add-ons. We have a 129 doc fee. That's it. Nothing else. And we're very transparent about it. But we have a dealer down the street Tulsa, who's giving $10,000 off. $10,000 off their online price, right? So we get all the people where I'm at in Northwest Arkansas. We're very centralized. So we're right here next to Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. Like, we're right in the middle. So we get a lot of out-of-state customers. Well, match their price. Blah, blah, blah. Sir, it's a 26 hybrid Palisade. We don't even have one, let alone are we going to give you $10,000. I hate having to compete with those dealers who are they're just liars. And I've never understood that. I just don't.
So Hannah, I think what those dealers do is this. Most of those dealers are going to have like mixed reviews, but I think what they're doing is they're trying to control the used car market at the highest level. So it's like
100%.
they know for sure that customer is not buying a new car. Me and you both know. I know, but the public, they don't know. They really think they're coming in and it's like, no, a Palisade's probably the hottest, a Telluride's the hottest, the Tahoe is the hottest, like the Suburban is the hottest. Like you're not getting the black on black because everyone with an Uber just probably bought it anyways. Like we really got to think about it. You know what I mean? Like let's really think about what's going on here. And I think that when dealers do that, I think they're playing the used car game. Because that same customer, if you called and you asked, hey, did you end up buying a car? They might just say, yes, I did. And they'll say, yes, I bought a 2024 of the same car with 10,000 miles on it. Because they bait and switched them. Because the reality is the old Palisade is so much cheaper now because it's that older model. It's not the new stuff. And it's dirt cheap now. Not dirt cheap, but it's competitive, if you will. It's a competitive price. So why not? Why would I want it? Why, if I can get a 24 for 10 grand off, the sticker with 10,000 miles, 15,000 miles, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing what everyone else is doing. I'm getting the 24 every time. So I think a dealer like that has learned to bait and switch. They're probably a low grossing store with a high volume.
Yeah.
Low gross, high volume.
Yeah.
Well,
it's hard to get the customer to realize that though. Kind of just have to let them learn.
Yeah. When it doesn't work, give me a call.
Then you got EV where like if I buy an old EV, the software updates, it's pretty much almost outside of the body style. It's a brand new vehicle.
As the kids would say, you'll be cooked at that point.
I'm
cooked. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. Once again, Hannah, thank you for joining us on the BDCRX podcast. It was an honor. It was a pleasure to have you. Man, we could do a part 2. We're going to need to talk a little bit more. Jason, thank you again. Charles. I like to do this quick little thing at the end of every podcast. Hannah, just kind of shout out your dealership, any last few words, any encouragement you want to leave to the audience, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Audience, when you see that spam call likely on your phone, pick it up, pretty please.
No, there you go.
On
I
behalf
love it.
of BDC out there, please pick up the spam calls, please. I got 4 kids. Pick it up.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm
Let's
gonna
go.
I'm gonna throw this out there. After this podcast, Anna, I got something for you. I'm just gonna drop it. TNS. Go Google it. But that's for the viewers. We're out of here. But thanks for everyone that watches our show week after week. And Hannah, I really love when we get like BDC managers and directors on here. I probably relate to you more than anyone in the whole dealer world because it's like I know what you're thinking, I feel what you're thinking, and it's like I wish everyone understood the numbers and the thought pattern. Like I know if me and you were off this, we could probably have 2-hour-long conversation just about work. And I know Charles, you live and breathe this space as well, just from a different perspective. And I think the more collaborations, Hannah, I think we have with someone like Charles, I actually think the better we get. Like I was scared to talk to them, but it's like you're really what's going to grow me in the future. Like if I want to be better, it comes with AI because I don't think it comes with more bodies in the seats because it gets expensive. And here's the deal that I'm learning. I'm paying my people more. They're staying longer. I'm getting more out of them and the AI is doing the mundane. That's what I'm getting right now. And I'm starting to see career jobs and not just a job. And I really think, Charles and your AI, that kind of helps out in these areas, man. But I just wanted to shout out that and kind of show you guys where I'm at with it.
So, and I'll just leave it here. Think of AI as a treadmill. Doesn't replace the runner. It just gives them the platform to go farther with less effort. So those of you out there on the fence about, I don't know if AI works. It's not like dumping everything into AI and expecting like a huge lift. Like it's going to take a hybrid approach of your people leveraging the AI and it magically comes together as long as you buy into it.
Let's do it. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Thank you for your time. We'll catch you on the next one. All right. Take care.
Peace.